Hey guys, how you doing? I'm doing okay. It's a beautiful day, nice breeze, very comfortable out here. It's a real gym lifting day for me. Okay, I'd like to talk about something that I noticed during a press conference that President Trump had with reporters just before he was about to leave. And and I've said in the past that Democrats do not know how to listen. They don't know how to listen, and they got so many things wrong because they don't know how to listen, and they don't know how to listen to the president when he speaks. Well, I was watching this press conference, and President Trump really confirmed what I've been saying about very bad communication skills the Democrats have, that they don't know how to listen. Because these reporters, which I can believe are Democrat reporters, also do not know how to listen. And the first thing I thought of was, aha, that got confirmed. And it even got more confirmed when, after one of the reporters asked the president a question, and the president began answering, and right in the middle of a sentence, the reporter interrupted him and tried to talk over him. And the president said over and over again, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, which went ignored. And the reporter kept speaking and not letting President Trump answer the question that was put to him. And Trump kept repeating, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. And at one point, he just threw up his hands and he said, you know what? Why am I wasting time with you? You're not listening. You want to talk. You want to stand on your soapbox and just preach and everything instead of allowing me to answer your question. And I'm going to go elsewhere and I'll get a question from somebody else who will listen to my answer. Okay, so President Trump himself confirmed to me that Democrats don't know how to listen, because he said to this reporter, listen to me. He said at least 7 or 8 times, listen to me, 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 listen to me. And he wouldn't listen. So not only do we have Democrats who don't know how to listen, reporters also do not know how to listen. And they have been owned by President Trump, this one reporter, by not allowing him to answer your question. Now, to me, I don't know where this person learned journalism. Can't even say the word. Journalism. Okay. But whoever taught this person how to be a journalist, this school, this class failed this person. They did him a disservice. Because if this is what he was taught, how to conduct himself as a journalist, man, he's not going to last too long in his chosen career. And not a lot of people's going to put up with it. That if they taught him that in journalism you must not let the other person finish answering your question, you must interrupt them in the middle of their answer. Now, I don't know who taught this person that, but he's in the wrong profession, I'll tell you that. He's in the wrong profession. When you're doing journalism, you are an interviewer, and you interview your subject. I mean, I still remember, I think it was, I think I read about it or something, where somebody is deciding to write for the school paper. And He's got a notebook. He's got questions. He or she has questions to ask whoever this person is interviewing for that person's article for the paper. And you have questions. And you go directly to the person you're writing about. And you ask that person questions. You ask a question. And then you have your pen or pencil poised, ready to take everything down. And you have to be very quick. And nowadays, there's no pen or paper. Now you can bring your tablet with you or your phone. And many of these kids can type quickly. I can't. But a lot of these kids can. And all you got to do is, you got your questions already on your little electronic notepad. Okay? You ask your question. And as your subject is answering the question, you start writing it down. And then you collect up all the data, all the information. You go back and you write your article. And you write down everything that person said. That's journalism. That's journalism. And it's the same thing of this stupid ad for Smart News. I only watch news I agree with. Sounds like Vinny, right? Oh, hello, George. Oh, you're my best friend. Yeah, George, you're my best friend. I love you, George. I'm gonna hug you and squeeze you and kiss you. Hey, Callie. Yes, George. Yes, I love you, George. I'm gonna squeeze you and hug you. Hey.
Have a nice weekend.
Oh, thank you very much.
I will. Your cord never came in. I'm still waiting. As soon as they get one, I will grab it. They're going to call me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They have a truck that comes twice a week. So when the next one comes, they said it will be on it. So I'll pick it up and bring it in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Okay. But you drive a nice car. He does. Oh, and this was all about the Ukraine nonsense. And again, the reporters don't know how to listen, because one reporter asked about that phone call, and Trump said it was a perfect phone call with no problems, no issues. And then another reporter asked him the very same question. And it's funny, that he had to have asked the very same question, because Trump had the very same answer. And I couldn't make out what he was saying. But based on President Trump's answer, I was able to surmise that the second reporter and third and fourth and fifth reporter all asked the same question. Because President Trump had the very same answer. Hey, get the wax out of your ears. Trump answered that question already. So obviously you don't know how to listen, because if you did know how to listen, you would know that someone else asked the very same question you did, and he answered it. So another reporter asked the very same question that you just asked, and this other person asked, and Trump answered exactly the same way each time. So to these people, they're in the wrong profession. Either that, or whoever taught these people journalism really did a disservice to them, because this is not journalism. With journalism, you ask questions, you write down the answers, and then you can put that together as your report. That is journalism. Journalism is not interrupting your subject. Okay.
Bye. Happy day.
You too. Oh, nice breeze. Yummy. Okay, you're interviewing a subject. You ask your question. It's answered. You write it down. And if somebody else has the very same question you have, then you write that down too. You're all standing there within earshot of each other. You're within earshot of the president. Unless you're not paying attention, maybe that's it. But again, that's on you. That's on you. You're so bad at journalism. I mean, you should change careers. Because, oh, look at this. Yeah. Nice. Oh, yummy. Oh, look at this. Now that's a nice breeze. Yeah. So I think all you journalists, I think you better switch gears, switch careers, because you are not going to last long as a journalist if you don't know how to listen. Because that seems too much like my family and some of the women I used to date, and my ex-wife. None of them know how to listen. And all of them, that I refer to anyway, interrupt me. You know, I said, wait a minute, you just asked me a question, would you please let me answer it? Damn. Hey, if you don't want to hear my answer, don't bother asking me the question. And if you're going to interrupt me during my answer, then obviously you don't want to know the answer. Because if you did want to know the answer, you wouldn't interrupt me. You'd let me answer the question. And that's what these so-called journalists did. They're in the wrong profession. And if it is a case where they have been mistaught how to be a journalist, then they're the victims. They're the victims of their own teaching. Then what they need to do is they need to go to the school where they learn journalism and confront that professor or the curriculum or the way they taught them. Because that isn't journalism. That isn't journalism. Journalism is you are covering an event or subject, whatever it is, and you have people to interview. And when you interview, you listen to the answer and you write it down. And that becomes part of your article or news item. That's journalism. That is journalism. What they did to poor President Trump during that press conference, you know, asking the same question about the Ukraine phone call. Damn. Take the wax out of your ears, take a damn Q-tip, clear it out. So you'll know that, hey, he asked the same question you did. And did you hear President Trump's answer to that? Are you really want to ask the same question? You're going to get this. Thanks, you too. You're going to get the same answer. You're going to get the same answer. What is 2 plus 3? 5. Next, journalism. What is 2 plus 3? 5. Okay. Okay, next. What is 2 plus 3? What's going on here? 5. 5, okay. That's my answer. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, next. What is 2 plus 3? Oh my God, these people got wax in their ears. I answered that question already, but okay. Okay, you asked the question. Okay, listen. 2 plus 3 is 5. You got that? Did everybody hear that? Okay, did everybody hear my answer to the question? 2 plus 3 equals 5. You got it? Okay, now, does anybody have a new question to ask me? A different question to ask me? Oh, I got a question. Hey, George wrote this question down for me. Okay, sir, what's your question? What is 2 plus 3? You are not a journalist. Goodbye. You better go back to journalism class and learn how to do journalism.
Hey.
Hey. You're asking me the same question that 4 other journalists asked me. Do you really expect a different answer? I'm sorry, but George had me ask the question. I'm sorry, George is my best friend. Well, George may be your best friend, but George ain't too bright. Okay? Because George must tell you that if all of you are standing around and you all have the same question to ask, you're all within earshot of my answer. So if 10 people ask me the same question, you're going to get 10 answers that are identical to each other. So reporters who call themselves reporters are a joke. They're not reporters. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they are. Because that's not journalism. That is not journalism. In journalism, you must know how to listen. Listen. Listen to an answer that is asked. Ask a question. You let the person answer. You do not interrupt. And if one person asks one question that you're going to ask, okay, then guess what? You write that answer down. And then you ask a question that hasn't been asked yet. That is journalism. Journalism is not asking the same damn fool question over and over and over again and thinking you're going to get a different answer. If you're going to ask the same damn question that 10 other people are asking, you're going to get 10 answers identical to each other. So get the wax out of your ears and listen. As I said, you're not in the right profession. Because journalism listens. Journalists listen to the question, the answer to the question. Journalists listen. And if 10 people are asking the same question, me? Oh, hey.
Long time no see.
Yeah. Well,
Louis.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I miss you.
I miss you too.
Man, you're one of the best.
Oh man, thanks.
And you really, oh, man. The place hasn't been the same without you.
I'll talk to you in a minute.
All right, you go ahead. Great guy. Great guy. I forgot his name for a minute. Yeah, I remembered his name, but I forgot to put the name with the face. So, today's journalists are not journalists because they don't know how to listen. And like I said, if they taught this in their journalism class, then it's not their fault. It's the fault of the professor who taught them how to be a journalist. Because that is not being a journalist. Journalists listen. They listen. They have ears, they listen. They shut their mouth. They ask a question and then they shut their mouth. They turn off their mouth and they open their ear and they listen. That's a journalist. That is a journalist. I don't know what made them think that being a journalist meant that you ask a question and 2 seconds later you interrupt and you talk over them. Because that is very disrespectful. And guess what? You're not listening to the answer. What was the whole point of answering the question if you're not going to listen to the answer? Whole damn thing is pointless. Excuse me. I mean, really. And another thing. Does anybody really think that President Trump is going to do anything to risk jeopardizing his presidency by doing some kind of felonious activity on the phone with another country? After 2.5 years, after President Trump has been under this cloud with the Russia probe, does anybody really think that he's going to do anything that's going to jeopardize all that he did and all he's going to do? What would have been the point of running for president? I mean, why bother? That's the thing that doesn't make sense. And these people don't think about it, because they don't think this makes, I don't think they even think about this. I mean, it would be political suicide if he did anything underhanded. I mean, besides the fact that's not the kind of person he is. After all that he's been through, do you honestly think he is not going to dot all his I's and cross all his T's? I mean, really. See, the one difference between Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives, is that liberals and Democrats cannot or will not think for themselves. And they need somebody else to do the thinking for them, while conservatives and Republicans think for themselves. Now, I support President Trump, and I agree with a lot of his policies. There's a few things I disagree with, and I've voiced them. Okay, when he was talking about that whole squad thing, okay, there were two things that I disagree with that he did. Number one, he worded it incorrectly to the squad about going back to where they came from. Okay. Because I knew what he meant. Because I've been following, so I know what his thinking is. And I read the tweet. Go back to your crime-ridden, go back to the crime-ridden places from where you came from, and fix those problems, and then come back and tell us how you did it. And nobody on the other side ever bothered to do their research about the cities they came from. Detroit, Cincinnati, Minneapolis, and New York. Okay? That's what President Trump meant. Okay, President Trump did not. Now, he put the two of them together about leaving the country. Okay, that was a mistake, and that I commented on. That he shouldn't have done. So yes, I think for myself. Okay, so you're brainwashed by Trump, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're just a blind follower. You know, propaganda. No, I think for myself. And so do everybody on the right, every conservative, and every Republican thinks for themselves. And we can have a disagreement. And you know what? It's okay. We don't get chastised. You don't have to fear repercussions. We can have a disagreement. And I disagree with what President Trump said and the way he put it. Because those two things really are supposed to be separate. And because he put them together, that's where he made his mistake. Okay? And that's part of communication. Okay? Which is why I always say, okay, I'm going to try to put this the best way that I can. But I also want to know if you're understanding me and understanding what I'm trying to convey. I do this all the time to whomever I'm talking to. Whoever speaks to me and tells me something, I throw it back to them and say, this is what I heard, this is what I understand, is this what you intended, is this what you meant? And Trump didn't do that, and that was a mistake on his part. Those two things should have been separate. You know, if you don't like it here, leave. Go to another country. Pick the country, I don't care. Pick the country where you will be happy, just like I picked the city where I'd be happy, or even the state where I'd be happy. I was no longer happy in New York. I hated it there. I moved, I left. And that's all that President Trump is saying about, you hate America, you hate this country, then leave. Go to another country. I've even said it. And really what his intent was, go to another country. Pick one. Pick one. France, Italy, Germany, Poland, the UK, Australia, wherever you want to go. Spain, Netherlands, Switzerland, Norway. Pick any country where you will be happy. But you're obviously not happy here in the United States. So, leave. Go somewhere else. Canada. A lot of people said they were going to move to Canada. Did they go? No. And guess what? They're still here, and they're still hating this country. So why didn't you folks move to Canada like you promised you would? So there's so many different countries you could move to where you'll be happy because you're no longer happy in the United States. So leave, move. And as far as the squad is concerned, okay, and I did research on the cities where they came from. Detroit, Minneapolis, Cincinnati, and then in New York.
Good for him. He was happy. I know.
Hi. You know, I did the research. One of those cities were one of the most dangerous places to live. Another one of those cities that has a very high crime rate. I was like, wow. Detroit, I knew. Detroit, I knew was in very sad shape. Detroit, I knew. Cincinnati and Minneapolis, oh, that was a surprise to me. When I read about Cincinnati and Minneapolis, I was like, whoa. Damn, I didn't know it was that bad in those two cities. But those are two cities where members of the squad are from. New York, I already know about New York. Detroit, I've always heard about. Biggest surprise was Cincinnati and Minneapolis. Those were surprising to me. But, you see, I did my research. And that's what these people should do. These people who are quick to shout, racist, racist, racist.
Bye. See you
Bye.
morning.
Okay.
I'm not going nowhere.
All right. And those people who are quick to shout, racist, 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 racist. Did you bother to do your research and look into those four cities? I mean, really. I was surprised about Minneapolis and Cincinnati. As I said, Detroit I've heard about, New York I knew about. Cincinnati and Minneapolis I didn't know about. And that was a big surprise. So I disagreed with President Trump in the way he worded it. So yeah, we think for ourselves. You know. So, is that all of it? I want to make sure Ooh. You all see this? Huh. Wow. All right. Yeah. So, these are my notes. This is the way I wrote it. Proof that Democrats don't know how to listen. A reporter asks Trump a question. Trump begins answering, and the reporter kept interrupting Trump as Trump said, "Listen to me," over and over until Trump stopped, gave up, and went to another reporter. He was like, you're not listening to the question. You're not listening to my answer to your question, so you obviously don't want to know the answer. So I'll go to someone else. A reporter who wants to know the answer to the question. And reporter after reporter asked Trump the same question about phone call with Ukraine. If the reporter listened to Trump's answer when other reporter asked the very same question, they wouldn't need to ask the same question again. Question was asked and answered, period. And as I said, Trump would never do anything that would be political suicide. He'd be yanked out of office in a heartbeat. And he knows it. That's why he wouldn't do it. Because he knows it would be political suicide. He would be yanked out of the office faster than you could say impeachment. Okay. He would not be reckless like that. He would not be stupid like that. He would not be, he would not run that risk. You think he's that stupid to do that to himself? To shoot himself in the foot that way? Come on. Use your brain that God gave you, instead of a brain from Billy Goat. President Trump would not endanger his own presidency. Then what was the point of running then? He said why he ran and why he wanted to be president. And if he did anything underhanded, that would be the end of it. He knows it and everyone else knows it. So to even think that he would risk sabotaging his own presidency, then what would have been the point then of running? Why go through all that work to sabotage it all? It's different than what happened with me. But with me, it was unnecessary pressure, But President Trump never received any pressure like that, Democrats. Wow. And I think I used to be one. They don't know how to listen. They just don't know how to listen. But they think that President Trump would be that reckless and risk sabotaging his own presidency. That makes no sense. Hi.
Have a good day.
You too. Doesn't make any sense. And then what? Right? He's yanked out of the White House, and then what was all that then? What was the accomplishment there? Guess what? He'd be out. He'd have all security clearances yanked. So what would have been the point of it? He would be out of a job, he'd be out of that White House so fast, all his security clearances revoked. And then what would he have accomplished? What would he accomplish by doing that? I mean, really. It just makes no sense. I can't think of the payoff. What's a payoff? We do things with a payoff. Even bad things. But they're bad payoffs. But for President Trump to act in an unprofessional and unpresidential manner with the president of Ukraine, and he knows by doing so would mean political suicide, then what would be accomplished then? I mean, just makes no sense.
No, remember 2:30.
Melissa, don't be walking out close behind me like
Oh,
that.
sorry.
You're paranoid, Melissa. Don't do that.
Sorry. Are you,
Lewis, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. I don't know. I'll see you though, alright?
All right, don't be a stranger
I
now.
won't.
All right, cute kids.
Thanks.
Okay.
About she had something going on. But you already know. I'll let you know.
okay.
I'll take you.
So, that's what I want to talk about. So let's stop this. This is Russia Collusion Delusion 2.0. The sequel. You know. It's like, oh my God. We're back to this again. But, like I said, do you honestly think he would do something to risk destroying his own presidency? Yes, it's true. Nixon did that. But that was Nixon. And if I remember correctly, Nixon was not as transparent as Trump is. Hi. So, all right. Just insanity. I don't know. Because I'm thinking about Nixon, you know. They're thinking that Trump is the Nixon of the 21st century. But I'll tell you this, Nixon never had the television in the White House. Nixon didn't have a news channel to always cover what he's talking. I don't know. I really don't know. Is it putting doubt on my mind thinking about Nixon? No. Well, it was worried for the fact that others want to secretly record him, and it's not him that wants to do it, it's others who want to do it. I don't know. I don't know. But one thing is for sure. Listen. You look all fancy.
Thank you. Everybody says that, and you know what? Every time it takes me like about 2 or 3 minutes to get
Yeah, it looks like you're going to a fancy event or something. So, I don't know. I don't know. But thank you, Democrats. You just put it out of my mind now. Well, I hope you're proud of yourselves. You just, I don't know. All right. I can't progress any further than this, but nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. He's doing everything right. He really is. He's doing everything right. I'm thinking about all that he's done so far. Yeah. It doesn't jive. It doesn't jive. I'm really thinking about this now.
Hi, Mr. Lester.
It doesn't jive. It really doesn't. This is inconsistent with everything that I have experienced with President Trump for the past 3 years. You know? Yeah. He's been doing everything right. He's been doing everything right. Everything that he does is right. He had to do a lot of thinking just now. And think about all his policies. How proud he is of all his accomplishments. Yeah, he's having a lot of fun. He's having a lot of fun just doing so much to pay back to society. You know? And when you come to the end of a life, and I'm getting there too, you want to pay back everything that you ever got. When you work your whole life, thinking about everything that you ever got. When you go up and you're at the top, where else could you go? You can go down, but you can also go in a different direction. You can go up, you can still go up in a different way. And I think that's what President Trump is doing. He's accomplished all he wanted to accomplish. You know, I think of my own dad. That if he was still with us, what more could he have done? What other things could he have done? What else could he have contributed? And I think of me. And what I was going to do for so many people with my films, my jukebox, I was willing to try it and see if I could produce an outstanding product. And I'm sure I would have. And some of my sales, I would have donated to various organizations, to the American Lung Association, to the American Cancer Society, to AAA, teachers unions, I don't know, the math films. That probably could go towards education. You know? This is what you do when you get older. And Trump is older than me. I have more time in trying to give, and continue to give. Anyway, that's it for now. Yeah. Trump's doing everything right. So, on that note, thanks for watching. Thanks for